Welcome back to Improvision Entertainment. My name is Hunter Munn, and this is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. But it's not really. So, here's the thing, guys. If you're watching this in the playlist later on YouTube, as I wait for people to arrive for this stream, obviously you'll notice that the entire background looks different. Now, I have done this intro for you guys over the past half a year, at least a dozen times. So, it's story time, and if you want to go on with the game, go ahead to the next episode in the playlist, and if you want to, see forward progress on the game, you might need to skip ahead a little bit, and I'm going to explain why. Okay, so, I think I'm pretty sure that I said when I started trying to stream Jedi Fallen Order that I've been having trouble with it, right? So let's go all the way back to the beginning. So back at the beginning, I had an Elgato HD60 that I've been using for a few years off and on for other stuff. And the whole reason I ended up getting this AverMedia Gamer Bolt, which is expensive, with Patreon money, thank you to Todd and Ulrich, our longtime patrons. The whole reason I ended up getting it initially was not just to make sure that I could potentially stream games, or at least record games in 4K 60, like I would be trying to do today with this, but also because I thought it would get around a problem I started having with the PlayStation 4. So I got everything set up, and I was doing my streaming setup, and I was doing lots of games, PlayStation 3 and otherwise. Need to stop looking at the demo thing and look at the green dot. And so I played Neo 2 with Dr. Zamph 1 week, and then the next week I was going to play it with him again because he was off the next Monday, I think. And that didn't work, and the PlayStation 4 wouldn't play through. And Justice, another roommate of mine from the old place, had a copy of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order for PlayStation 4, and I was going to play that. And because the PlayStation 4 just stopped showing up in Elgato, I couldn't do that. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, you know a little bit something about streaming, and like, oh, it's the HDCP was on or off on the PlayStation 4. Nope. Tried all that, on and off multiple times, different HDMI cables, different setups, all kinds of things, lots of troubleshooting. And I could not tell you for the life of me why it worked 1 week and it didn't work the next week. And I tried every single possible combination of the cables I had available, because maybe I swapped them in and out in a way that I wasn't supposed to and it didn't work out. I started systems, restarted systems, did the program, updated things, did the various drivers, yada yada, all kinds of stuff. Didn't work. So I gave up. Somewhere near the end of last year, I believe somewhere around November, I don't remember exactly when it happened, but EA Play joined Microsoft Game Pass. And as a result, I gained access to the Xbox version of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Okay. That's the version that, if you were watching the playlist on YouTube, that I have been playing up to this point, and that was, in the present time, 8 months ago. So I played it for a stream or two, and what ended up happening was, the game would, well, not just, it's not, first of all, I want to clarify, it's not the game's fault. Everything I'm about to say, the game, it's not the game's fault. Hello to people who are joining me on stream. It's not the game's fault that it wasn't working right. I don't believe it was the game. Okay, I don't believe it was EA. I don't believe it was the product itself. But something about the game was super cursed. So it kept giving me audio issues and audio repeats, and it kept giving me display things, and like same day, same setup, working with different Xbox games. If I like swapped it over, those things wouldn't be as much an issue. Now, it might be that the game is sophisticated. It might be that it's using power and stuff. I just realized my lights aren't all on, and the sun is going down. It might be that the game is doing more than it needs to, and therefore stuff couldn't keep up. Now, I was playing it at the time on an Xbox One X, and obviously it was doing pretty well for itself. That was, at the time, the best version of the game you could play. Pardon me. Sun's going down. All right. One of my lights is busted. That's another, but we'll get to that. That's another technical thing that happened with Cursed Jedi over here. So, that happened on and off for a year. Seemingly every other week, I would try and get Jedi working. Or let's say it happened for 2 or 3 months. Then I kind of gave up on it. Over the course of the summer, I ran a poll, which I will have referenced in videos that you may have seen at this point, where I was asking people for suggestions for what games they'd want to... Well, not suggestions. I was asking people for games they'd most want to see me finish or complete. And by far, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order was the #1 selection. And I have been trying to play this thing for weeks. Pretty much every Thursday for like the past 7 weeks, and it just given me all kinds of issues. Now, today, I sat down at normal stream time. I thought I had everything working, and it didn't work. I thought I could fix one thing, and it wouldn't work. Here's a fun thing I didn't realize. I thought I figured out a workaround because the game was playing Windows audio, which is where all the sound alerts and everything come from. Which, by the way, in case you don't know, there are sound alerts on stream. By the way, if you are watching this later on YouTube, please consider checking me out live at twitch.tv/HunterMun. You can get behind-the-scenes things like this more often. This is sort of an intermission that sometimes happens, but... okay. So, this stuff. That. I have to have Windows audio because it plays into Windows. That audio. Now, one, I have discovered a way to pump that audio directly into OBS, so I don't need Windows anymore. Cool. Rock on. Okay. But what I'm trying to get you right now is giving you surround sound. And I was giving you surround sound while Windows was also hearing the game, and it was replaying the game, not in surround sound 5 channels, but in stereo 2 channels. And it was playing them over the top of each other, so you were going to get fucked up surround sound. And I didn't want that. I didn't want that at all. But, turns out in Windows 10, there is a way to send specific applications to specific sound things. And I'm using the voice meter banana. So I sent it to an imaginary sound channel of voice meter Vio 3, and instead of that sound going to Windows, that sound's pumping directly into the headphones. So all the Windows sound is going into the voice meter and going into my headphones. And just OBS is going into the voice meter and going into my headphones, but it's not going to Windows. So that's how I've circumvented things. Alright, so that is giving you surround sound. I discovered that when the game is playing in performance mode, it's playing in 2K. That's 1440 by 2560. I think that's right? So that's why there's not a little icon down over there in the bottom corner of the screen that says available in 4K. In 4K, we're available. Even though it might be playing for you on YouTube if you have a 4K capable device and television, it might be playing in 4K. The game is actually not going to be in 4K. It's just this is the resolution I have things set for in this special version of OBS. Okay. So, and the very last thing that happened was, at the point at which I had gotten to in the game itself, there were some spider things and some guys that were giving me a little bit of trouble, and I was like, this is going to be troublesome to come back to. And every time I tried to come back to it, it was trouble. But this past week, when I thought the game was working, I got into the game and I made a little bit forward progress, and a couple of things happened all at once. Game audio was doing the stereo and surround overlap. Didn't realize it until I was partway through. The recording itself didn't actually start when it was supposed to, and also seemed to vanish and stop at some point. And I was rusty as hell, and I knocked the game down to story difficulty. And knocking it down to story difficulty did that thing I hate that some video games do, which is basically normal difficulty is a little tough. At least that had been my experience. I was getting past it, but I was getting killed by things. That's what I recall, because I haven't rewatched those videos from the last, from half a year ago, that you may have seen earlier in this playlist. But it's a Souls-like game, and it's a game that requires skill, so if you don't have that skill from half a year ago, you're not going to just remember it like, at a moment's notice. So I was having trouble playing the game, and I wasn't doing very good. So I knocked it down to story difficulty, and story difficulty became paper thin way too easy. And it was kind of aggravating. I could either have the game be too difficult for my current skill because I'd been out of practice, or I could have it be way too freaking easy. And then, as I was getting upset with all of this, 2 transphobes show up in the chat. For anybody who doesn't know, but you should because it's up here. Actually, it's up here right now. I prefer pronouns she, her. I don't argue that I'm a woman or anything like that. It's a whole complicated issue. You don't have to talk to me about it, and please don't. All I'm just asking is please use pronouns she, her. Everything else is like, whatever. I get what you're saying. I have a beard, yes, they mentioned it. But they also mentioned things like trying to get into little girls' locker rooms so that you could see them changing or something. I don't know. They were a bunch of pervs. Point being, at least one of them has been removed from Twitch entirely. But I made the mistake because I try and give people enough rope to hang themselves type of thing. When somebody comes in and is inflammatory, I don't just ban them willy-nilly. And that would take a lot of effort to do so when it happens. But I try and talk it out with them, see what their perspective is, see what their conversation is. And a lot of times, well, not a lot of times, but let's say 1 out of 4 times, somebody will do something like that, and they'll come to realize that they were kind of a jerk, and they'll be like, all right, I didn't really mean that, I was just thinking about this thing, or I understood it this way, and it's not that way, whatever. So that's why I give people the chance. But I was in a bad mood, so all of my guard wasn't properly up, and I spoke to these people for almost 30 minutes trying to convince them to stop being assholes, and I mean, one of their names was Ban the Tran 95, so I think I feel safe saying that because I think they're the one who probably got reported and actually went away. I don't know. I had to report both of them because it was doing hate speech. You get how it is. In any event, normally I just ban people, but they were persistent. I say normally. I need you to understand, if you're watching this later on YouTube, that this type of interaction... this is the most social I get, is being able to be at Twitch. I don't really go out and drink. I don't go out and have parties. I don't have a lot of money outside of what I make for my mom's home business and Patreon. And because Twitch hasn't paid me yet. Ever. And, so I have the video games and I hang out on Twitch. And hopefully either you're watching now later on the VOD or you're watching on YouTube. And this is the most interaction I get with people. So... understand that Twitch is my social, and YouTube is my social interaction. And having said that, I really have been very privileged that I am surrounded myself with good friends who know me as a person, and so when I realized I was trans, I don't know a single friend that I actually lost over it. Like, I'm very lucky in that regard. But it also means that situations like what happened last Friday on Twitch with this game playing is that transphobia is pretty much exclusively for me on Twitch. Now, that isn't Twitch's fault, and like I said, it's not a prominent thing that happens. But let's say once every other month, 1 or 2 people, together at a time, try and jump me over my pronouns and start doing the straw man arguments about how fucked up they think trans people are and stuff. And it's really fucked up and hurtful, and I was in a bad mood, and these people started doing this, and it put me in a worse mood. And to be honest, it's now like 3 days later, and I'm still kind of in that bad mood. Oh, no, wait, I guess it wasn't Friday, it was Thursday? Because I tried to play this game on Thursday. Yeah, okay, so... right. I tried to play this game last Thursday, so it's been like 3 or 4 days. Point being, this game is cursed. Through technical issues, through human error, and through hate fuckers ruining my experience. This is my explanation of everything that happened, and I hope that you understand, and I hope that you're with me and that you're not going to be an asshole in the YouTube comments like some people were assholes in the YouTube comments. So, having said all that, my intention is to click the button over here to the side that says Start New Journey. And I'm going to start over. And I'm going to throw it on paper-thin story difficulty. And I'm basically going to try and speedrun everything except for the story. And primarily this is because of two reasons. One, it is the most voted game on the last poll. Poll voted on by people such as yourself. Please check out the link at the top of the YouTube channel. Or if you're watching live, or at any point, you can go to the twitch.tv/hunterman/about, and there's a whole bunch of links there, and it should say whatever the current poll is and what date next to it last got updated. So please vote in whatever the current poll is. But also, anybody who's watching later on YouTube, like, it's very important for me to play games that people want to see me play. And overwhelmingly, of the, 22 votes I got in the last poll, and at this point, if you're watching this in the future, my YouTube channel is 57 subscribers. My Twitch is, I think it says, oh, actually it doesn't say on screen, the poll is missing. I have 157 followers, and so 22 votes is pretty good. And out of the 22 votes that I received, more than 10, I think it was 11, but I can't remember exactly, more than 10 votes were for Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order in the list of games people would like to see me finish. So it's far away, second place was, Subnautica and Hades, and I think those each received, 4 or 5 votes. So it's far and away first place. So one, for the people who voted for it, I want to finish this game. And two, for myself, I wanted to experience the game for the story, and I refreshed myself reading the in-game logs and stuff on last Thursday to get what was going on, but I'd rather get it all in one go. And lastly, I don't want to get frustrated with the game any more than I've already been frustrated by the game. And admittedly, one more time, it's mostly not the game's fault that I've been frustrated up to this point. So, I'm just going to play the story mode. And I'm going to play it at story difficulty so I can just blaze through the game for anybody who wants to see it. But also, I got to get it out of the way. It's a rough spot, and it's a bad thing that's happened, and it's all bad. So, having said all that, this was your introduction to anybody who is watching live or on the VOD to what's going on, what's been happening with this game. To anybody who's watching on later on YouTube, I will say that I am Hunterman. Wait, did I play the right thing? I think I did. Yes. Okay. I have been Hunterman. This is Jedi Star Wars Fallen... I'm sorry, Star Wars Jedi... It's such a long title. It's double subtitles. Can I just take a brief moment here at the end to say how much I dislike double subtitles? It's Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. And you can tell because it's Star Wars Jedi... Star Wars Jedi Academy is a series. Star Wars Rogue Squadron something. Star Wars Rogue... It's always Star Wars the thing and then the... I hate that. I hate anything that does that. So from here on out, I'm probably just going to call it Jedi Fallen Order like I think I've been doing it up to this point, but literally the title is Star Wars subtitled Jedi, subtitle Fallen Order. In any event, I have been Hunterman. This has been that I just said, and for anybody watching on YouTube, this will continue into the next playlist in which I am going to hopefully start the game over in better audio and better visual quality and start blazing through the game. So if you have been watching up to this point, in a few episodes for YouTube, I'm going to try and do the game in the order I've been doing it up to that point, with the exclusion that I went to, the third planet as opposed to the second planet. I'll probably go to a different planet and start that from the beginning. Just come in at the fight on the launch pad at the end of that one scene. In any event, later.